The Haunted Manor. In the heart of a forgotten town stood the Manor of Whispers, a place where the past was anything but silent. A group of thrill-seeking friends, drawn by tales of the paranormal, decided to breach its dusty threshold, eager for a night of adventure. Little did they know, they were stepping into a story that would intertwine their fate with the echoes of the forgotten. As they ventured deeper, the air grew thick with whispers, each room a chapter of sorrow and rage. These weren't just echoes. They were the voices of the manor's former inhabitants, each recounting their tragic end. The friends, initially skeptical, found themselves ensnared in a web of empathy and horror. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, revealing that the manor was not just a house, but a prison for souls seeking justice. The tension reached its peak when they stumbled upon the Grand Library, a room untouched by time. Amidst the decaying books, they found a hidden diary belonging to the last owner of the manor, a figure shrouded in mystery and rumor. The diary revealed the chilling truth. The owner had been a cruel arbiter of fate, sentencing those within the manor to a life of despair, their deaths merely the beginning of their torment. The moment they stepped into the Grand Library, the air chilled, a stark contrast to the musty warmth of the rest of the manor. A slow, deliberate creaking echoed through the vast, book-lined walls, as if the house itself was breathing, adjusting to the weight of its uninvited guests. The friends exchanged nervous glances, their jests and bravado dissolving into silence. As they ventured further in, the creaking grew louder, more insistent, culminating in a sinister crescendo that seemed to emanate from the very soul of the manor. Without warning, the ornate chandelier that adorned the library's ceiling began to sway gently at first, then violently, as if caught in a tempest. The friends froze, their eyes locked upward in horror, just as the chandelier's chains gave way, crashing down in a shower of sparks and shattered glass. They scattered, diving for cover, but the chaos had only begun. The fall of the chandelier was not just an accident, it was a harbinger of the manor's wrath, a sign that the spirits within were not just seeking to communicate, but to punish. In the aftermath, amidst the debris and the flickering candlelight, they found one of their own motionless, a shard of the chandelier's crystal embedded in his chest. His eyes were wide open, fixed in a gaze that saw beyond the veils of life and death. The remaining friends gathered around, their horror-stricken faces a mirror of the ghastly scene before them. This was no longer an adventure. It was a nightmare from which there was no waking. The manor, with its whispers and shadows, had claimed a life, a stark reminder that some doors, once opened, can never be closed. The chilling silence that followed was broken only by the soft, mocking whispers of the house, as if it were pleased with its grim display of power. As the friends pieced together the stories of the lost souls, they realized the manor was alive, fueled by a desire for retribution. The voices were not just seeking to be heard, they were seeking justice, and the friends were their chosen instruments. In a frantic rush of adrenaline and fear, the friends attempted to retreat the way they had come, only to find that the path behind them had morphed into an unrecognizable labyrinth. Doors that once led to the safety of the entrance now opened to endless corridors shrouded in darkness. Panic set in as they tested each exit, only to find that every door and window had become an impenetrable barrier, sealed shut as if by an unseen force. The realization dawned on them that the manor was not merely a passive observer of their terror, but an active participant, determined to keep them within its cursed walls. Desperation clawed at their minds as they divided their efforts, searching for any oversight, any weakness in the manor's defenses. But it was in vain. Windows that once offered views of the moonlit grounds now revealed only the oppressive darkness, as impenetrable to their gaze as the barriers were to their touch. The house seemed to mock their attempts at escape, corridors twisting and turning back on themselves, leading them in circles. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of taunts and sorrow, as if the very souls of the house reveled in their plight. Trapped and isolated, each friend felt the weight of their predicament, a chilling realization that their fate was no longer in their hands. Olivia, the most courageous of the group, had always led their charge into the unknown with a fearless heart. But as they desperately sought a way out, her gaze fell upon an ancient mirror, its frame ornate and whispering of ages past. Something within the glass stirred as she looked into it, a mesmerizing dance of shadows that beckoned her closer. Her friends called out, their voices distant echoes against the pull of the mirror. Olivia's breath slowed, her eyes locked onto her reflection. Or perhaps something beyond it. The air around her grew thick, as if the very atmosphere of the room was being drawn into the mirror's depths, pulling at her soul with invisible strings. Her companions watched in horror as she stood transfixed, unable to move or speak, her vibrant spirit dimming before their eyes. Suddenly, Olivia's knees buckled, and she collapsed to the ground, a lifeless husk. As her friends rushed to her side, a faint whisper escaped her lips, a final breath of warning. "Run!" It was as if the mirror had drained the very essence of her bravery, leaving behind nothing but a chilling command. Olivia's fall marked a turning point in the night's horrors, a stark reminder of the manor's power and the grave danger they all faced. Her last word hung in the air, a ghostly echo in the oppressive silence of the library, urging her friends to heed her sacrifice and escape the malevolent grasp of the manor. In a desperate bid to free the trapped souls, the last three of the group decided to confront the manor's dark heart. They found their way to a secret chamber, the source of the manor's power, and there they performed a ritual, hoping to appease the spirits. But as the final words were spoken, the house began to shudder, the air filled with a cacophony of voices, each crying out in liberation and rage. They heard a voice. "One of you must pay for the others, not all will leave." In the chilling aftermath of Olivia's demise, the three remaining friends were engulfed by a paralyzing dread. The air grew colder, a harbinger of the unseen horror that was yet to unfold. Whispering voices filled the room, each syllable laced with malice and despair. "The choice has been made," they hissed, a chorus of the damned that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the manor. The friends clung to each other, their eyes wide with terror, as they realized that the spirits had marked one among them for a fate far worse than they could imagine. The manor, with its endless corridors and hidden secrets, had become a hunting ground, and they were the prey. Suddenly, the atmosphere tensed, and one of them, Ethan, began to scream. A sound so raw and filled with agony that it seemed to shake the foundations of the house itself. Before the horrified eyes of his companions, Ethan's body started to contort unnaturally, as if invisible hands were tearing him apart. Blood spattered in all directions, painting the ancient walls with new tales of horror. Limbs twisted and snapped, flesh parted, and his cries ceased abruptly, leaving behind a silence more terrifying than the screams. The gruesome spectacle unfolded like a nightmare, from which there was no awakening, a vivid testament to the manor's ruthless claim. The remaining friends were frozen, their minds unable to grasp the brutality of the scene before them. A bloody reminder that their survival was a game dictated by the whims of vengeful spirits. Then, silence. The two remaining friends awoke outside. The manor stood before them as defying explanation. They had not succeeded. The spirits of the manor were still there, watching them from inside. As they turned to leave, a chilling realization dawned upon them. The voices were gone, but their own shadows were not. Each shadow whispered, a ghostly echo of the souls still trapped. The manor had bestowed upon them a grim gift. They were now the keepers of the forgotten voices, a living testament to the manor's legacy. The adventure had ended, but their story was just beginning. As they walked away from the manor, the whispers followed, a haunting melody of the past that would never let them go. The Manor of Whispers had claimed their friends, and in doing so, ensured its tales of horror would never be forgotten. For the part of them that remained inside, it would pull them back when they die, making sure everyone who enters the manor stays there, one way or another. Subscribe now! Activate the bell and be notified when a new horror story is available. Don't lose each new tale as it is ready for you.